So Jesus spent a great deal of his time hanging out with the disenfranchised, and the disability population is one of the largest unreached disenfranchised groups. And so if we want to live like Jesus lived, we should be hanging out with the disenfranchised. And we've chosen to focus on the families affected by disability. So the church has a calling to be like Jesus. So Respite events are an awesome way for us to open the doors to our church and let families cross over that threshold in a safe way. We provide a really, really badly needed gift, which is respite.
I think the thing that a lot of people don't understand when it comes to parents of special needs children is that it's not always just a physical exhaustion, but it's oftentimes a mental exhaustion. There are times where you just need to be able to shut off the brain and allow yourself to just have a time of peace. Yeah, respites are definitely a way to do that.
And then we are able to show them how much we love their children. We train our volunteers to look for those special things so when they meet the parents afterwards, they can tell them how much they enjoyed their child.
Or making sure that their families know all of the positives about their kiddo and that other people see it too, and that their kid is loved for who they are, and people are seeing who they are. They're not just seeing their disability, I think is huge.
And one by one, we see these families feeling comfortable enough to come back on Sunday mornings.
Why our church does respite events, why our church does bridge builders, why we do special needs ministry at our church is we truly take at face value when Jesus says, whatever you do to the least of these, you do for me. And so we think it's worship, first and foremost, when you do these things for Jesus. So whether it is serving someone in a low socioeconomic status, or for instance here, a family or a child who has a disability or some kind of special need, we feel like when we serve them, we're serving Jesus.
Even if that means just spending 4 hours on a weekend watching one of our kids, to allow parents like myself, allowing them to know that their children are in a safe place with you and they're able to do whatever that they want, kind of have almost like a little bit of a normal life, even for 3 or 4 hours, makes a huge impact on parents that really struggle over constantly having to be mindful.
There are always people in your area that you don't know about that could use respite, that need help, that need people who love them and care for them and accept their children and want to make their children feel loved and the families feel loved. The more churches that we get on board with it, the more families we're able to reach and hopefully bring to church and start more church programs and get more kids involved that normally can't be involved.
One of my favorite passages in growing up was Psalm 127 when it says, children are a gift from the Lord. And there's no footnote that says some children are a gift or normal kids are a gift. It says children are a gift from the Lord.
God doesn't make mistakes. And the church needs to realize that every one of God's children is valuable. And if we start loving on these children as if these children and teens and adults actually with disabilities as peers, if we show compassion to peers, then we are reflecting that and it changes our church and we become more irresistible to the families. And if we're irresistible to families affected by disabilities, we're going to be irresistible to families that are disenfranchised in other ways too. We just naturally start to look at others differently.
This is kingdom stuff. And so it's not a new Bible study. This is something that is grassroots, boots on the ground, changing lives tangibly. 3 or 4 hours on a Saturday, people say, my month is different now because of you. Because you love me tangibly in this way. You didn't just pat me on the back and say, we're praying for you. You took care of my kid. That changes people. It changes their family. It changes them. It sets them up for a great week. This could change your church. It could change your community. It'll bless people. It'll draw people to Jesus. There's a whole swath of our population that feels like they're not welcome. Even if we're not implicitly saying that, it's just too much work. We won't bring them. If we don't go and do that extra work, they feel like they can't come. And that's the last thing any church should be okay with.